and welcome to another episode of Cruise Ship Explorers. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Mike, and we are so excited this week to bring you Carrie and Dennis Hoover. They are experienced cruisers. They have so much to talk about upcoming cruises that are going on and their past cruises. And they're going to give you some tips and advice, and I cannot wait to hear their stories. And Rachel, what do we tell everybody to do?
Well, before we do anything, guys, take this moment to slam that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any future episode and cool guests.
Yeah, and each week we're going to bring you an interview from somebody that works on a cruise, or an entertainer, or a chef, or it can be a celebrity guest from the new theme cruises. We're so excited. But anyways, enough of this talking. Let's get right into the interview. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We have Carrie and Dennis on this interview. Last name Hoover, like the vacuum. And we're so excited to have them. They have so much experience cruising, and we're going to get right into it. So what got you into cruising?
We needed a vacation in the worst way, back in 2017, I think?
Something like that, yeah.
I had been on one, 20 years ago now, and I talked her into it. It was not that difficult to talk her into it. We were actually sitting in a parking lot getting ready to go have some Mexican, and she had it booked already. So,
oh my God, that's a travel agent right there.
Yeah.
What was the first cruise that you took? What was the itinerary?
Western Caribbean
That
or
was
Eastern Caribbean?
So our first stop was Puerto Rico, and then we hit St. Thomas, and then St. Martin, and back to Nassau, and then back to Miami.
Yeah.
And do you remember which ship it was or cruise line?
We do. That was MSC Seaside.
Oh, awesome. There's a line that we'd love to take one day. We hear nothing but great things, and they're releasing a new ship, I believe, or they just did.
We're booked on the inaugural for the world.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
look
my
at you.
gosh, how many days is that?
April. It's next April.
It's in April. I have a countdown someplace.
It's not even done being built yet,
Yeah.
so we're hoping it's on time.
Oh, yeah. You never know. I did see, they usually are pretty good about being on time when they build a ship, but you have seen just recently a couple delays, and I think maybe Royal Caribbean might have had one with their newer ship. Yeah, and it does, and we're not talking a small little boat. We're talking a giant vessel,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. We watch videos of them building it and everything that goes into it. And today with the technology, it's just crazy, all the stuff that goes into these ships. How many years have you been cruising now?
This will be
7. Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen technology change every cruise that you go on.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. Rachel, tell them a little bit about what we saw from a technology standpoint.
Well, of course, we both have to work on the cruise, and I am sure you guys with your YouTube channel and your social media, you're constantly having to upload videos and things. So the whole Wi-Fi situation has gotten so much better. So when you go on these cruises, I imagine you're trying to share your experiences, as fast as you can. Yeah. So for your Salty Beach traveler, all of those social media profiles, I imagine it's a huge help. But not only that, I think the boarding process has gotten a lot way easier with the key card situation and taking your picture. That used to take forever.
Yep.
Well, even embarkation too. When you get back to the United States, you walk right through that photo thing, and you don't get grabbed. You're good to go.
Oh my God! So we actually, I guess they started it, prior to 2020, or no, right after 2020, or maybe even before. But we hadn't been on a cruise ship for a little bit, and then we saw that and the new technology. We're like, oh my God, this is amazing! It was just so quick, and it just made the process so much easier, so we're noticing technology is just flying, no matter what it is. Even with you get down into some of the bigger ships that have the robotic bars, and you're like, whoa, where is my bartender? Oh, that's your bartender right there. So it's kind of crazy. Is there any specific cruise lines that you feel that you just kind of go to? I know you mentioned MSC is one of them.
MSC and Virgin. are probably our two go-tos. We've done a couple other lines, but those are the ones we tend to gravitate to.
So talk about Virgin for a second. So how do you like Virgin? We have not been on that line.
Virgin's great. We've been on them twice. We've booked for a third. That's the one we're doing. That's December, I think.
Yep.
We're going to be on Virgin
Okay.
then. It's cool because we went on very early. And if you watch some of our old videos, we didn't have the greatest experience the first time because they were
Right.
finding their market and things like that. And we liked it enough that we said, let's give it another shot. And so glad we did because that was probably the best cruise we've ever had. Because
Wow.
they found their market, they found their audience. It may not be what everyone thinks it is, but it's a lot of that 35 to 60 age, like that. But people that are having fun, you have a good time, there's no kids, but it's not, it's not the booze cruise mentality. It's just a lot of fun and amazing food. And
The food's absolutely
Yeah.
hands down amazing.
it's the best.
Is it really? So what makes, like, do they have separate dining rooms? Do they have a big dining hall? Like what
don't
makes it, and forget about the quality of the food, but is it not only just the quality, but the experience that you get from the different types of
There's
venues?
no main
Yeah.
dining room and there is no main buffet. You have restaurants, you have to book your reservations. The minute we're on the ship, she's signing on and booking our reservations because they do go fast. As far as the rest of your meals, they've got this area
Called the galley.
called the galley, and it's almost,
Think food truck.
if you 9 or 10 food
Okay.
type
Yeah.
grab and go stuff on the way in and out. They'll get it for you, or you can go up and get it yourself.
Yeah.
It's usually the same every day, but you can dabble
They have a
around
lot
little
of
bit,
stuff.
yeah.
But then they also have like coolers set up throughout the places in different areas where you can get like a bento box or something like that. I mean, the reservations are something that it does get a little touchy with people, but you can walk up, you'll eat. But there's no main dining room. It's specialty dining every place you go. So there's also no upsell on specialty dining because
Oh,
all
wow.
specialty
That's
dining.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting, hey, buy this cruise and get three
What?
free specialty dining packages or
And there's
whatever
something
that is.
for anyone on every menu, and it's insane. I mean, if you want the filet mignon every night, you can find it. I mean, it's really cool. But there's a lot of original things.
I would imagine they have room service as well for all the cabins.
Yep.
So you can get that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's such a good concept. We
We've-
were on the
we've won
NCL, right?
Yeah, NCL, and we've been wanting to do Virgin. It's definitely been on the list because, of course, no kids.
Yeah.
And thinking about it, that's kind of like a bold move, like for a company to say adults only. I mean, you're kind of just taking a whole segment and being like, away with you, So
Right.
it's kind of interesting. Is the difference just no kids? But from what you guys are describing, it kind of sounds like everything is elevated, which is different from the one size fits all type of ships where
Correct.
they're trying to accommodate everybody. So there's only so much you can do to please everybody. And this
Yep.
seems far more like targeted.
Oh, definitely. Because even in the shows and things that we've seen, it's kind of funny because we have kids that are in their, mid to later 20s and things. We walked into a total EDM like rave once and we're like, okay, that's not our audience, but move on.
Right.
We definitely stayed and watched for quite a while and was fascinated. But they have that, but then they have other shows. None of them are catered to kids or, they're PG to PG-13 and maybe a little bit above, but it's pretty cool the way they have stuff for everybody,
Yeah, that's all. And how was like the entertainment aside from the club, like having the EDM club? Is there variety? We went on a ship recently where they have this, we're like music people, so we love seeing rock bands and stuff like that. So they had a rock club where they did a whole Fleetwood Mac tribute, show and stuff like that.
You'll see
So that was really cool for us. Yeah.
You see
Did
a
they
lot of
have
different generations and stuff just throughout the ship.
and they have the entertainment that meets that, right?
Oh yeah, they have so think of like on the traditional cruise lines where you have your like animations crew or that type of thing. They have that, but it's done differently because each person has they have their own like specialty, like the art person or the music person or the foodie. So they incorporated, it's just done differently and they do it throughout the whole ship. So you can just be walking around and experiencing different things. It's not so book your show at 8:30 and go watch that. It's a lot of stuff happening. They don't have the cruise director. They have a diva. So as a drag queen, amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. And so you have, the first one we had wasn't the greatest one, but the second one just
Knocked it out of the
unbelievable.
park, yeah.
Unbelievable. And she's the hostess of everything. So it's really cool to just have a totally different feel to, it's the start of a different type of a party. And we really enjoy
Yeah, you
it.
just have to, it sounds like something, if you like that atmosphere, you have to experience this.
We do.
We like definitely, you know, just a little more on the privacy without the kids. Not that we don't love kids,
Right.
but it just is a big difference, you know?
It is.
Seeing a different, you know, type of, say, a cabin. I had gone online and I checked out all the cabins.
Yeah.
They just look like, to me, like rock and roll, you know? They're
They
cool, you
do.
know? They have a cool feel, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and we bought one
we
of the
love
Nemec
seeing-
for home. Just, we have one. They're amazing.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff. How about like, I would imagine like any other cruise ship, they have areas for pools, they have a spa and all that stuff as well,
Their
right?
pool is pretty small. That'd be
Okay.
like one of the feedback things. It's not a swimming pool. You're not going to float around
Right.
on a floaty on it. It's
Right.
for people standing around and socializing in a pool. It's pretty
Right.
much that. And they have another one in the back. It's like, if you ever see the ones that are green and it's got an X in the middle, it looks like a giant hot tub, but it's not hot, but it has the bubbles. Again,
Oh, wow.
everyone just sitting around socializing. There's a bar.
Get a drink,
literally
hang
right
out.
there. Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. You know, and listen, it's a different type and they're trying to market to that
Yep.
audience. And I think they're learning and you're going to probably see a lot of changes along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm excited to see. And, you know, not only that, but just all the cruise lines, we're just seeing so many different changes, you know. Who would ever think you would see a roller coaster on a cruise ship?
Right.
You know, it's nuts, you know?
It's crazy.
So what are some of the things you guys dislike about cruising? Is there any dislikes that, you know, our viewers, you know, because they like to hear maybe that would sway them and go a different way
Sure.
or a different line or whatever?
For us, I think it would just be, I wouldn't say the amount of people because we tend to go to bigger ships, but just too much. I guess I could say that, where it's just so many people in a small spot and you feel like you're herded around. We don't like, that's been kind of the thing that we avoid. So one of the reasons we do tend to gravitate to larger ships or a specialty cruise like a Virgin is because of that. You just don't have that 10,000 people in
Yeah, like
a little room.
Icon of the Seas. I would like to see that ship. I would like to experience it, but what's holding
Yes.
me back is how big it is and how many people it holds.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they're releasing actually, I don't know if it's this week or the next,
Utopia.
sometime soon.
Yeah.
It's coming
Yeah, the
up.
Utopian, that's a smaller ship, right?
It's about
I believe.
the same actually,
same.
but it's going to do the weekend cruises. So for
Oh.
us, like, I would go on it, but that a weekend cruise tends to gravitate that booze cruise audience. I don't want to be on a booze cruise with 7,000 people. That sounds
No.
gets a little,
No.
can be the obnoxious potential
Yeah.
there is
For us,
pretty
if we want
high.
to do that, we'll just do an excursion, a 1 hour booze cruise. We're good to go. Back to the normal cruise life, you know?
right. And I mean, to be fair, we haven't tried it. So, you know, but yeah, that's probably why we haven't booked that.
And how do you approach your booking? Do you use a travel agent? Do you book directly? What do you find? Where do you find the best deals, or how do you go about doing what you do?
We're in loyalties clubs to just about all of them, so we do book ourselves. We follow a lot of the sales and the things. Most recently, though, we've definitely got on to booking Onboard. So we book on all of the ones that we have coming up
Yeah,
have
these
been
are all
some kind of,
pre-booked.
we booked Onboard.
And they give you a greater discount on board?
It's not usually a greater discount, but it'll help you with like onboard credit or the deposit.
Oh,
or
okay.
perks. So in most of them now, I know both MSC and Virgin are doing it now, where you can pay your deposit and you don't have to set the date until later. So
Okay.
we really have done well with that, because I think Virgin, they've changed it. I don't know what the current terms are, but when we did it, we put a $300 deposit down. We got $300 off the next cruise. We got $600 in onboard credit and bar tabs, and I think value was like over $1,000 for putting
And we have
$300
what,
deposit
6
down.
months or something to
Yeah.
book.
So we've been
Oh,
doing a
that's
lot
nice.
of that. It really is a great deal. And if you work with a travel agent, the cool thing about that is your travel agent will actually get the credit for that. So if
Right.
you had one for the first one, if you book on board, you're not taking anything away from your agent and you're still getting the perks. So it's a win-win for everyone on those.
No, that's good to know. And that's good for people watching just to know, because we get a lot of questions where we'll get asked, do you use a travel agent? Do you book direct? And, we do a little mix of both. So for us, it's like, I think where the deal lands, or if we know that we can get a better deal from the agent, we'll do that. Or even a destination, if we're going like super far away, maybe we might use an agent because we might be able to get a quicker callback or something like that if there's a problem. That's our preference. I know everybody has a different preference. How about, speaking of bookings, excursions, do you do excursions when you're on these trips?
We do, and we tend to book through the cruise line. I think it's just I'm too paranoid of something happening.
Well, it depends where we go, too.
Well, true.
We've been to Cozumel, a dozen times now, so we know where to go.
Yeah.
We know how to get
Right.
back to the ship. If we're going to a strange place, we're gonna go through the cruise line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen you in those videos as pier runners yet, so I think you're good to go, that's the thing. That's our biggest fear, too, is just getting stuck. Maybe a van breaks down or something. If you book it through the cruise ship, then they're going to wait for you. If not, they're going to leave, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
But we're so paranoid about that. We just check everything and make sure, because I definitely don't want to be running after
No,
a
I
ship.
don't want to be on someone else's video for it.
Yeah, no, and they will post it everywhere.
I'll be making the
everywhere.
video.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the thing. Like with the excursions, do you have any favorite excursions you've done so far? Any like memorable ones you could talk about?
Oh, we've done a bunch.
Scuba diving in Cozumel.
That was cool.
Oh,
That
wow.
was amazing.
That was not an actual cruise ship excursion. We went to, I think that was Mr. Sancho's in Cozumel, and
Okay.
the snorkeling things. And I get, the laws are different in Mexico because we're not scuba certified.
I was just going to ask, like, what?
They let us do it.
It's a 5-minute crash course in a tiki hut, and off you go.
But it was so much.
Nothing like that.
We've snorkeled in Cozumel a lot. I will say, for snorkeling wise, it is better to do those actual excursions because there's the national park reef out there. And to get out there is typically more of like the sanctioned ones. And I mean, we've done them where we've seen some amazing, crazy things out there. So if you're going to Cozumel, highly recommend at least snorkeling.
Yeah, they have
Right.
the sea turtles. They're much easier to see there. Cozumel is definitely one of my favorite Caribbean ports to see, for sure.
It's such an easy place to explore, and it's safe. It's easy to get around. It's a good one.
Yeah, people are friendly. It's great.
Yeah, Puerto Plata, we hopped on a bus for about an hour.
Dominican.
So most of the island, and went snorkeling out there. First place was so-so. Second place was really good. The last Virgin cruise, we did that shipwreck in Bimini. That was very cool, but the currents
That was cool.
wore us out pretty good. That was cool.
Yeah, that's some good exercise there. And when you book your excursions, do you book it when you get on the ship, or do you book it ahead of time?
Usually ahead. We've learned
They sell out
they
fast.
sell out fast. The good ones that usually
Yeah,
won
true.
typically are better.
Yep. And
When-
have you found ones canceled on you due to weather or anything like that?
We did. We had one. It was just recently. It was another shipwreck. It was on MSC's island. They actually took us all the way out there, but the currents were just way too dangerous. And, they're like, sorry about that. We had our money refunded to Onboard credit before we even got back to the dock. So
Wow.
it happens. You can't fault them for being safe, right?
Yeah, we had a similar experience. We did an Alaska cruise. So for us, Rachel wanted to do the helicopter, go up and go with the dogs.
Yeah, you
and
sled
do
dog
it.
down.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And yeah. And me, not so much. I didn't want to go up in a helicopter. So the weather was really bad and they canceled. And I was like, oh, what a shame. I really wanted to do that. She's like, yeah, sure you did. But yes. But you just never know. And that's something that, like, unless you're doing Alaska every month, it's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. So yeah, you just never know.
You don't.
How about, like, as far as your years have gone on cruising, have you picked up any tips? So for us, I'll give you an example. we used to carry like so much luggage and pack so much and overpack. And, you know, some people do like to pack a lot of stuff and have extra stuff. We just learned to trim it down from 50 bags to 2, you know. How about, is there any stuff that you've learned along the way, whether it's packing or whether it's, you know, items to bring? We'd love to hear your view on that.
What's the things that
I think we've really trimmed it down because we've taken advantage of the onboard laundry service a couple times.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I know Virgin with their loyalty, you actually get it for free. Greatest idea ever. Because you can still do it midweek and go home with clean clothes, which is great. So
That's amazing.
Of that. I think packing wise too, those little magnetic hooks, greatest thing ever. We love those things.
They're great.
But the laundry, that is so underrated. We started to use it. And yeah, once you built up the loyalty points, it doesn't take very many cruises to do so. You get that free bag. It's so worth it. Mm-hmm. And it comes all nicely folded for you. It's the greatest.
It's so nice. And I guess that would probably lead into like the biggest tip is take advantage of those loyalty perks, because we got through, we're diamond something or other on MSC. And it really didn't take that long. Virgin status matches us. So they no longer status match with MSC, but that's how we got our status started off with Virgin. But theirs is very, very quick because it's still such a new line. So it's, 2 or 3 sailings and you're in. It's not hard, but definitely you get a lot of advantages with those loyalty perks.
Now with Virgin and MSC, those are 2 lines that I'm familiar with them, but not as familiar as I might be with like a NCL or Royal or one of the other ones. Do they offer and do you opt to buy extra packages? So we talked about Virgin doesn't have the dining packages, but MSC, do they offer that kind of stuff, or a drink package if you're drinkers? How do you work with that? So
MSC they almost always have a promotion where it's drinks and Wi-Fi included. Take it. Okay. If you're going to buy a drink package, just get that. Because it's their Easy Plus or whatever promotion they have at a time. That one's always been totally sufficient for us. So we'll do that. What was it? I think Celebrity had something like that too for a while. We kind of go back and forth on the cruises. I know with Carnival, we tend to just do a soda package. Okay. It just depends on what makes sense for that cruise of how much it's going to cost or, So,
and how much you're going to drink. Like if you're going to drink 14 beers a day, okay. I mean, go for it. Yeah. But sometimes it's cheaper to pay as you go, you know, so that's kind of the math we try and do.
I think we learned that when we started sailing Virgin, because they don't do the drink package. We got off the ship and realized it was like $300 in bar tab. We're going, wait, a drink package is $900 sometimes. We didn't hold back. We still drank what we would normally drink, So, yeah, big time on that one.
Yeah, I think it really we're the same way. It just depends on the cruise and the options and the sales. It just everything, we look at everything. And even things like you can get a spa package for a week, where if you buy it on the ship, it might be a lot more money. Right. So, and if you catch a 50% off deal, those are the ones to grab. They're no-brainers. As far as like during your sailings and you get those sea days, which you don't get that many, is there any favorite things to do? Do you go to the spa, or is there any to the gym? Everybody has their little things.
We sit by the pool and watch people. Pretty much all.
Everybody gets a nickname.
All right.
Oh my God.
We love doing
that.
the same thing. So
that's us.
What is your strategy for securing the chairs by the pool?
We will just find a chair and sit. We're not super picky about having to be in front if we can. We're up early anyway. So us being up at 9 or 10 in the morning to be like done with breakfast and sitting by the pool is normal. We're not doing it just to save a seat. So we're usually pretty okay with where we go.
We've never really had a problem with
We haven't.
seats.
I think we're kind of just easygoing where it's not.
You're not worried about the front row.
I really don't. We've sat up on the top balcony and had just as much fun. So
we're the same way. We're just like, and we're not rushed getting out of the room. Like whenever we stroll out, whenever we have breakfast, whatever, there's no real strict 9:01. We need to be grabbing our chairs.
Yeah,
you know?
we're usually up really. I mean, not really early to everybody, but we're usually out of the room by 6:30, going to get breakfast, and at that stage, it's trying to find something that has coffee open. Sometimes, and then we're on with our day. So,
no, that's awesome. And do you guys, when you started out cruising, did you have any things like seasickness or getting used to the ship or anything like that? Because, we talked to a lot of people and there's so many different stories of like, they weren't, they got on the ship, but they were not used to. And also they might have had really bad weather, but it really rocking.
Yeah.
So, it sets people off. How was your experience on your first cruises?
So I'm really sensitive to seasickness. Our first cruise, we were fine. I don't know which one we figured out it was, but
It was our third one. We were in Yacht Club on Meraviglia.
And I got...
Our room was deck 18, front of the ship.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not a good combination.
Our waiter just loved to feed us. He must have thought we needed extra food or something because he kept dropping stuff off, and I wouldn't quit eating. And of course, I'm still drinking. And I kid you not, we were heading to Cozumel, and the winds were pretty bad. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I could feel the stomach acid coming all the way up my throat as the ship.
Yeah.
I had to get out of bed and go outside, go find a deck somewhere and just focus a little bit. Guys were out cleaning the pool at like 3 a.m. and they're looking at me like, Tita went up.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. And do you bring like medication for that?
Yeah. So I do the patches behind my ear and they work good. I mean, where I get it, as I've gotten older, it's gotten way worse to the point where we have a boat and we go out in Lake Erie a lot, many times a week, and I get seasick on our own boat. So I've been looking into those like bands that vibrate. There's supposed to be an app to watch, and I can't get it to work. But yeah, I'll be experimenting on those here soon.
Yeah, but other than that,
the patches work.
Never really had a problem.
You haven't. There was another cruise much later on. I spent the entire cruise in the bathroom.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
That's I mean, and that is definitely a problem, and hopefully you'll find something that works for you because there's definitely stuff out there. It's just a matter of finding that.
Catching that.
Yeah, get the patch, get it behind your ear the day before.
And you're fine. Every time I've gotten really sick is because I was like, oh, I'll be okay. And once it hits, it's hard to get rid of. So if you're worried about it, buy the patch, get it behind your ear, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's a great idea because certain seasickness people that we know, they have a certain room that they always book. Like they try and get low and in the center because, anything in the front or in the back, they're going to feel it.
They're going to feel it, yeah.
So, I mean, speaking of that, what type of cabins do you like to book? Do you like, is there a suites or, what's your preference?
We do everything. We've done insides, we've done ocean views. I mean, we've done on MSC, we like doing Yacht Club, which is their like butler level service. We've done inside cabins in Yacht Club. It's honestly, every cruise is a little bit different of what we're going to look at. Sometimes we're doing the cruise for the itinerary, not necessarily the ship. So we might go down to an inside cabin. Like I know we're doing the Mediterranean next fall, and that one for sure we wanted to make sure we had a better cabin and a balcony because we want to see things. So,
and which line is that with that you're doing?
That MSC World Europa.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
You're going to love the Mediterranean.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we just did that one. It was definitely a bucket list cruise after Alaska. Like, we're like, let's start national.
We got to get Alaska
start
in there. He hasn't been as keen on Alaska as I am, but I want to do the one where you train halfway. You go all the way up on the train or down, and then you cruise the other part.
Yes.
No. Well, that's an excursion where you can take different trains and things.
Okay.
But we went out of Seattle, so we got there a couple days early because Seattle is just such a cool town. And it went all the way up to Victoria, British Columbia, while doing all of the Alaska things.
See, I definitely want to do that. I'll get them.
And there's so many different options that I think you can do that, like take a train up there and then jump on the cruise.
Yeah.
And do that. Well, speaking of the Yacht Club, I'm always curious because, we've done a couple suites too. How do you find the difference between the Yacht Club, which is, the top of the line, to a balcony? What are the differences that appeal to you?
So for us, Yacht Club's great. It's elevated dining. You have anytime dining. You have a butler. We don't utilize a butler. We've never had a problem. We love our butlers, but we're just not that tight.
Yeah.
With that said, it's really cool when you make friends with your butler and we just start having fun with butlers.
Yeah.
It's a different type of experience. As far as the cabin, the rooms will be a little bit nicer, but I don't think that's what sells us on it. It's usually a value because, believe it or not, on MSC, you price things out. A balcony in the Aria or something like that compared to what you get with Yacht Club, which includes a premium drink package and all of the above, it actually works out to a pretty good value to it too.
Wow.
And you're getting the private pool and stuff. We still there's a lot of people dub it as like general population, Gen Pop. We spend most of our day in Gen Pop. And
I mean, it's for us, we kind of do the same thing because we love looking at people,
Right.
and there is nothing that's the entertainment right there. Forget about the Broadway shows they have.
If it gets crazy on the ship, you go right back up to Yacht Club and it's quiet.
Yeah.
That's it. And, sometimes it is nice to have like a breakfast in some of those private dining rooms that they have because it is quiet and you're away. But it's good to experience, I think, a little bit of everything on this ship, so you take it all in.
Their lunch by the pool is amazing. It's something like that. But yeah, you see a lot of the forums and people say, oh, once you go to Yacht Club or Celebrities version, you'll never go back. And we're tied in true testaments that is not true.
No.
Our next two are not booked in Yacht Club. So it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's like we call it like a treat for ourselves. Sometimes if we can get a deal, it's like a treat and we do it, Have you experienced along your cruising life any craziness? We love hearing those stories. It can be anything from really bad weather to, we just spoke to somebody we did an interview with and they actually, had somebody pass away on the ship. So, which was kind of that brought our interview down a little bit, but it was but for them, it was different because of the experience of actually seeing what it takes to, get them off the ship with the helicopter and all that stuff. So it was definitely a thing for them and coming across the system and letting everybody know what was going on. Has there been anything that you've seen on any of your sailings?
We had one really good one. So it was on MSC again. It was on Meraviglia. They were coming in from a transatlantic and they had been sailing in Europe, coming over to the United States. The entire crew had to go through customs. The entire ship had to be converted from euros to dollars. MSC messaged, they sent everything other than someone knocking on your hotel door saying, don't show up early. What did everyone do? 5,000 people showed up early.
Wow.
So at that stage, when we showed up on time, what our time was, we ended up waiting about 5 hours for embarkation. Outside it was in Fort Lauderdale. No, where was it? Orlando, Fort Canaveral. Lines, hours and hours long. And I'm not exaggerating in the 5 hours. I think we timed it at 5 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. Oh yeah, that was a great time. So we finally get on the ship. Everyone's mad. It is what it is. That's the ship I ended up spending the entire time in the bathroom with because I got seasick.
Oh my God.
But then getting off the ship was the same thing. It was like 3 or 4 hours trying to get off to the point where they had to have the sheriff department come in. They're breaking up fights. It was crazy. And we're all just like, just stop fighting and move.
Yeah, that's the process that's supposed to take they want you off the ship. So they usually make that happen real quick.
Started drinking, they went up, got in the pool. The Broward County Sheriff had to come on board and break up fights and get people out.
Oh my God.
It was nuts.
It was nuts. It was an experience. And, I guess I see it. It was a short cruise. It was a weekend cruise. We know those turn into booze cruise. And that was the epitome of that. So it attracts a different audience, I guess. And that audience was drunk and mad.
Yeah, that's...
I'm not leaving. It's my pool. Yeah. I paid for it.
I paid every penny of this. Yeah.
So we had another one, and it was on Meraviglia also.
It sounds so bad for that ship.
And we're totally bashing the ship, and we love it.
We love it.
No. It's just a story.
Do Nassau and Ocean Key.
I remember this one.
But Ocean Key still was not done yet. It just kept getting delayed.
Yeah.
So we get to the port. And we asked the lady, we're like, where are we going? We had no clue where we were going. She says, let me get you checked in and I'll tell you. So she checks us in. She goes, you're going to Cozumel. All right, sweet. We're checking out the ship. Cool ship, you know, it's beautiful. And I look, and there's these people down in the atrium, and they're protesting, and they're holding cardboard signs, and they're claiming they were on a mission trip to Nassau. And
Oh my
we're on a
gosh.
mission trip on a cruise to Nassau. Just get off.
It's like the ripped up pizza box boycott. It was great.
Yeah, that's not the
Oh my
best way to
God.
go on a mission.
What do you think you're going to get out of this? Seriously.
You're
Oh my
standing
God,
on
that's
four volunteers
insane.
there saying we're on a mission for a
I've never heard. There's one story I've never heard.
That's
We're
a
gonna
new
have
one.
to highlight that. That's definitely one for the books.
It was
That is
interesting.
I mean, just to watch it must have been like crazy,
That's
you know?
great.
And that was
Watching.
before we were using YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, darn.
No.
Get the phone out for that one.
That's one for the books. I have no words on that one. As far as like some with the experience that you both have, is there any advice? I know we're going to get a lot of viewers that are first time cruisers,
Sure.
and they'd love to hear some of your things that would say, hey, listen, if you book, do this, or if you bring these essentials, bring this. I know we talked about the hangers, the hooks. Is there any like of your top 5, top 10 things that you can give advice on?
I would say I learned this early on, long before we were YouTubing or anything, is find the social media of it. There's the cruise, I can't remember what it is.
Cruise Critic?
Cruise Critic. They have the roll calls
Sure.
and that. I typically will go in and find that sailing on Facebook. There's almost always a sailing for it. If you just search groups and the dates, there's something. You'll find a lot of good tips, because if you are a new cruiser, there's plenty of experienced cruisers that'll get in there. Just, take it with a grain of salt, but you'll get some different opinions and things like that. But it's a great way to really figure things out, where we're going. I have questions. Has anyone tried this excursion or whatnot? I mean, we're experienced and we're still in them all the time.
That's great advice. Any other stuff that you can?
I would say if you really are new to travel, I would probably recommend the travel agent, because that's the person that can really guide you through it.
Buy travel insurance.
Oh, buy travel insurance. We buy an
Yes.
annual policy. If you travel a lot, we have an annual policy. I think it's through Alliance or something like that. And it covers everything, because I do some business travel and stuff too. Travel insurance is worth it. You don't want
That's really good to know, actually. I don't think a lot of people know that. I know the company that you mentioned, they sell pretty much, they have, a lot of the cruise ships locked up with their plans, but
Yep.
you're buying per cruise, which is expensive.
Yeah.
But if they have an annual policy,
You do.
and if you do travel a lot, that is some great advice right there.
And that's what, $300 a year?
Yeah, it's not. I can't. It was $300 or $400. It's not very expensive. No, it won't do like the cancel for any reason type things like that,
Right.
of course. But the medical and your lost luggage and stuff like that, delays.
Which is the most important, really.
Really, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's great advice. We're always hearing, hey, tell us the best tricks, deals, advice, that we can learn from your series. And we love asking that, especially because, this is a new platform. I'm sure like you both do, watch a lot of the cruise bloggers out there. And we find out a lot of, while having great content, a lot of them are more cruise news and that kind of stuff. Look at the engine, it's on fire.
Right.
Look at this, there's no like real talk, like this, which is great especially for first time cruisers. But some of the interviews that we're going to launch with entertainers, you get the stories of the behind the scenes. Now they're looking at us,
And that's the greatest.
So,
I would love to watch all those.
oh, they have some stories, and there's one, a bass player that we interviewed in one of the bands, and he talks about his experience of going all over the world, and how one of the stops was he got to see like Freddie Mercury's home, and just crazy stuff like that. Or he has stories of, the actual guest entertainers that they have to be the backup band. So it could be like the finalists in American Idol, and they have total crazy demands, and they're like, well, you weren't the winner, you were the runner up, so it's the funny stories like that we get to hear. How about like an entertainment? Do you have any cruise ships that you think bring the best entertainment? I know we did speak about the different things on Virgin, and I'm not sure we touched on MSC, but I know that I know all the ships in general on the cruise lines are trying to up their entertainment game by bringing Broadway shows and just different things like that. Have you seen changes in the ship's entertainment?
Yeah, I think it's specific between the lines and things too, and the variety of stuff.
Sure.
Because as you were talking about entertainers, I had to remember that Virgin has tattoo shop on their onboard, and yeah.
Yeah, we heard
Wait,
that.
do they have to do a sobriety test or just doesn't matter as long as you roll it?
Oh,
That is
test
so
with this,
cool.
but yeah. And my most recent one was done, and I wish I had her name on me right now because I'd plug her because she did amazing work. But her and her husband live on board one time. He's a piercer, she's a tattoo person, and just getting to know people like that is so much fun. But as far as entertainment, yeah, it's it's the shows or it's the variety that we like too between everything. And the Broadway shows are good. I know I'll give Carnival the plug that we probably had the best comedians on Carnival. They give a lot of great stand-up people. It's not a line we sail very often, but we always go to the comedy
Who
club
was
there.
that band on Celebrity?
No idea, but they were really good.
He was like a runner-up on American Idol or something like that. And
really
he
good.
went
Oh,
down to
wow.
Key West and found a band, and they got together, and they were amazing.
We love that kind of stuff. Just the
Oh,
people
yeah,
that want
us
to bring
too.
for months, because it's not so, I don't know, cliche cruise ship entertainment. We love finding that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, and then once you find like your favorite acts, we start to kind of like follow them around the ship because
Like
they
a
do
group band.
multiple sets and things, and each set is a little bit different. But yeah, there's the lounge act, so we see the same couples either dancing or hanging out at the lounge.
It's fun. I know that's like our tattoo girl. She was telling us her and her husband, they got scuba certified. So they scuba almost every port because you can't tattoo it on, like at the ports. So they're out
Right.
excursions. So she was telling us like, oh, go this place, go that place, go do this. It's so much fun to find the people that are on board all the time.
Yeah, and they've been doing it for a while, so they know ports really well. They know just the ins and outs of cruising, and to hear their stories. Like on a whim, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get my hair dyed, just for fun. And yeah, like you meet these and you think it's going to be a simple dye job. They are pros, just like I'm sure your tattoo girl is as well. They
gotta look
are
up her name.
next level pros.
Oh yeah. I mean, I did a fine line, pretty detailed, and she's from South Africa, and it was just to find something around here. It's expensive, but anywhere a fine line tattoo is expensive right now because they're trendy. But the level of what you got, I don't have that around here. Say it that way. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
that's a great experience that you'll find different things on the cruise ships, whether, tattoo is definitely something new. And I love that Virgin is doing that. But even just like people that are art people, you get a lot of art and galleries and stuff like that. And there's some really good collectibles on the ships. And now the big thing that we're starting to do, me being in the music industry, I'm lucky enough where, I get to interview some of the, the rock stars on some of these cruise ships. So we're going to have some pretty good guests on there. And it's just those theme cruises have been taking off where you get actors, chefs, celebrity chefs. We even just saw Cat Lovers cruise. So, it's endless now, the amount of different style cruises you can go on.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything to add? This has been amazing. I mean, I loved having you guys, are very entertaining with lots of stories. We love it. We also love to, is an invitation to come back, once we launch a series, because by then you'll have done another 50 cruises and, we'll be even more jealous. But we would love to have you back. Is there any stuff that you may want to add for first-time cruisers or anybody watching this that you can think of?
Don't limit yourself on an itinerary. I think a lot of people are, and us included, we just always thought, oh, the Med's going to be so expensive. The Mediterranean cruise is just as expensive as a Caribbean cruise. As far as cruise flights, of course, are different. Utilize travel miles. Utilize whatever you can do. And so we do. We have an American Express card that we use for our everyday business, so we can get miles out of it. It makes a huge difference. But yeah, we typically pick itinerary before we do ship. It's where do we want to go? What do we want to see? And I think that's a really big piece to cruising that a lot of people don't think about until you're in.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the same. We do the same thing, and I totally 110% agree with you. that's just a way to do it because, the cruise ship is, you're not really going to get a bad cruise ship. Yeah, you might get one that's 10 years older,
Right.
but they're redoing them so quick that, they're now modern. One
Right.
that might be 10 years old, it might say it's 10 years old, but they just refinished it last year or
100%.
something like that. So that's great. So let me ask you another question. Where can everybody follow your travels? Like, can you tell us where people
connect
can
with
find you?
Sure, you can plug that one.
So we're on YouTube. It's at Salty Beach Traveler. I do have a TikTok channel. That's where you guys found us, actually.
Yes. And I will list that too because I know what it is, and we'll also list all these. But yeah, people should follow you, and I like the content you put up. So I think it's just keep putting that up. And Rachel, anything that you have to add?
Yeah, no, I love to hear the story, so I'm glad I know where to find you. And when you're on these cruise ships, do you tape everything, create all the content, and then get home and then deal with putting it up? Or are you guys trying to like vacation, but also put this stuff up? And like, because I've seen people do it both ways. And I'm like,
Yeah, we mix it up. I mean, first and foremost, we're on vacation.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have a camera in each other's face the whole time.
Right.
I tend to, if I see something cool, I'll make a short, and I'll throw that up each day. Maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. As far as the videos, we already kind of have an idea of what we want to catch, and we'll make time. We'll go around. We'll catch that. Usually when the ship's not so busy, and if we're in Nassau or something, because we don't get off the ship in Nassau anymore. So that's the day we're doing the ship tour. And
that's a great
we'll knock
idea.
that out
Yeah.
in an hour, we don't.
But we try to get as much as we can in a small amount of time. We have learned a very hard lesson once of SD cards, that airport security can eliminate them. And we lost an entire cruise of footage because that whatever.
Just by going through the X-ray?
Yeah,
Yep.
it wiped our entire SD card. So we do multiple SD cards, and we usually try to upload first. We've also invested much more into equipment as we've gone, and we use a lot of the DJI equipment because you can get it into the cloud easier. So
Yeah, we'll upload
we
it
do
to
a lot
our
of that.
phones right away. I generally take the MacBook with me, and I get stuff uploaded right then. That way,
That's so smart.
back up. Yeah, you learn,
because even if
You never know.
Exactly.
That's the thing. It's
an SD card gone is nothing you can do.
That's the
trust
worst.
us. We know. Yeah, we've been down
we
that
try to
road.
gather as much as humanly possible because now it's a long time between cruises, and I like to do one video, one short, or more every single week, and that's tough if you don't have a lot of content.
Yeah, no, it's a huge challenge. You can get away with like tips and things like that, but that footage is really tough. And so you get torn because we've been on cruises where you literally see them living their cruise through their lens.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know that I could do
I don't
a
wanna do that.
Mediterranean trip and you do not experience it the
Right.
same way. And then you're stuck watching it back and trying to live it that way. And yeah, I try and make it like a 70-30 proposition, but it's
That's
meaning
how we do it.
70, it's
Yeah.
actual vacation.
Most of our videos now, they're 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not, I mean, when we went scuba diving, yeah, that was a 28-minute video, but that was
That's
easy.
cool.
You had to GoPro underwater and try to swim, right?
But
Yeah.
even in that regards, I've always told them, I said, YouTube will only do YouTube why it's so fun. We don't do comp cruises. We're not a big enough channel to get anything free. So we're paying just as much as everyone else on that cruise. That's first and foremost that's that. And we're happy to have the content because we're having fun creating it. And
That's it.
And that's all we're really looking for with it,
If we can help somebody out along
Oh yeah,
the way,
great.
then they drop a comment and say, this is awesome, that makes our day.
Yeah.
Oh, we're huge on room tours. And like that's the first place we go is YouTube to look at room tours to see what your room looks
Oh,
like.
for sure. And a lot of times you can find that specific room. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we love. And, even to this day, if we want to pick out a room, I'll be like, okay, room 1128. Let me see if it's on YouTube. And it most likely is,
Yeah.
or it's the one across the hall, which is the same kind of
Yeah.
room.
We do.
So yeah, and technology today, even talking about that is such a long way to help you pick out your rooms, even non-cruise, you want a hotel or something like that, it's the same thing. But no, this has been great. We're going to have you back if you would like to come back.
Sure. I love it.
And yeah, thanks for joining us and hanging out there for a second.
Sounds good.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. That was a great episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Great guests. We're super excited. Each week, we're going to bring you a new interview with cruise staff featuring entertainers, cruise chefs, cruise directors, bartenders, whoever we can find, as well as cruisers themselves to tell their individual stories. And we're going to have special guest celebrities. Theme cruises are super big, so we're going to be interviewing a bunch of people. But Rachel, tell them what they need to do to be notified each week.
What do you mean do? They should have did. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any future episodes. And if you want to watch some of the previous episodes, the best place to do that is our website. And that is cruiseshipexplorers.com.
Okay, everybody, you heard it, cruiseshipexplorers.com. Join us each week. We're super excited. Till the next time, see you then.